Alright, so this is the setup. This will be the fill area, and we'll have a tube that runs over here, and we'll have an external fill that runs over, and then this will be the vent for the fill. This is just an extra little drain plug, like if we ever want to pull the entire tank out and clean it real well, we'll pull this out. And then this is where the pump will draw from, and we'll run 1/2-inch flexible tubing from here up along here into the strainer. And the strainer is just to keep like any like sediment particles out of our water and keep the pump in better shape. And then we have our pump, and we'll have another piece of flexible tubing that goes between in here to help mitigate vibrations. And also we will have an external filter on like our hose that we use to fill up. That way we can try and keep our tank as clean as possible as well. Now that we have all of our inlet lines ran up to our pump, it is time to drill in our water fill right through the side of the van right here. And this little buddy will go like this through the wall and connect into this guy. This is the second to last hole, hopefully, that we have to cut in the van. I was drilling from the inside to put a pilot hole in there, but I left the hole saw attachment on there just so I know how it would come through from the outside to the inside, and it'd be exactly where I wanted it to be. So now that we've done that, the hole came out here and we taped everything off. That way the paint doesn't chip or flake or any of that when we drill through. And now we are ready to cut this bad boy out. This was 100% the worst experience we had cutting any holes in the van. I think I jinxed us earlier. Immediately the blade was dull. We just bought it today because it was this funky custom size. And then the bit kicked out and I like scratched the van right here and up here and down here. I don't think that the cover is going to cover all of that, so we'll have to touch that up anyway just so it doesn't rust. But the blade essentially like burned itself through the wall, and I hope it didn't like burn the paint on the outside as well, because on the inside there's definitely some like burnt looking spots. It's not its best look. Don't know if this is just like from the wool and the glue that got hot and burnt. I'm really hoping that's what it is. I don't know, it was just all around a really bad experience. Oh no, it actually did burn the paint, and the hole saw like kicked out once and did this number. Fortunately, the little cover covers that up, so we'll just touch that up with some paint and primer. Not too concerned with that, but overall I guess it's okay still. This took a bit more paint and primer than it usually does, but everything's finally dry and we're ready to put the butyl tape on and actually fasten this guy in. Okay, this is what it looks like all mounted up. And then on the inside, I actually cut this little wooden piece out with 2 different size hole saws. And that way the screws from the outside had something to bite into on the inside. So I think that helped sandwich it in there pretty decently. And then, I don't know, this is kind of weird. You can see light coming through this thing right here, which I'm not too comfortable with. So I think what we're going to end up doing is sealing this whole edge and the entire edge of that as well. So it's a nice waterproof seal. And then this will be where our vent hose connects to, which will run to right here on our tank. And then this is the inline fill that guy will go to. Might have to shorten this up a little bit just so it fits better, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for joining us in today's video. As always, it's time for our tips, tricks, mistakes, and cost. First things first, when you are installing your water tank, especially if you put it back in the garage area like we did, and we'll have all of our junk in there, be sure to build some type of like protective barrier around it. We just did like a plywood box and we have protection on all sides except the very back, and then we even put like a little wooden brace across that. That way, if we're going up like a steep hill or something, it can't slide or move around. So just make sure it's anchored in place well, and it's also protected. That way it doesn't get punctured by anything.
When buying your hole saw for that weird size, make sure you don't skimp on pricing, and definitely don't go with an Ace brand hole saw. We just had the worst experience with that hole saw ever. It shouldn't have been like that.
Yeah, that hole saw was just like a real pain in the neck. It went dull immediately, and it was for metal and everything. I'm not really sure if we just had a lemon or what, but don't skimp on that price whatsoever. The final tip would be, when you are installing it, use like 2 different hole saws, like maybe a 3-inch and a 4-inch, and cut like a little wooden ring out. That way when you're putting the screws in from the exterior, those screws actually have something to bite into, and it will like smash it really tight up against the exterior of the van, creating like a super tight seal. And then if you have any like small gaps, which wasn't actually between the van and the thing, once you install the tubing into it, you like turn it and lock it. There's a small little gap right there, and so we just went ahead and like caulked the heck out of that just to make sure we didn't get any type of like moisture or rust in that area.
The total cost for this project, including the tank, the remote fill portion that goes on the outside of the van, the braided tubing, and all of the little fittings and screws, was a total of $253.26.
Thanks so much for joining us in today's video. We're Ben and Jelaine with Nomadic Visuals. If you found this video helpful in any way, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and check out this van build playlist and we'll see you all in the next one.